So, Esmeralda isn't feeling good, and today we're going to figure out what's going on with her.
This ought to be interesting.
Right. Let's get on topic. Hey everybody, it's Thomas with Get Out Arizona, and you're watching another great episode of Toolbox Topic. I'm joined again once by my co-host Brandon Van Leuven. Brandon, how the hell are you?
I don't know yet. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. How was your weekend? New Year's
delightful.
Eve. So now we can actually ask, how was your New Year's Eve?
Was
because
fine.
It actually has passed.
Spent time with the folks in California.
Nice.
Some little bit of family time.
Okay, good. Yeah, nothing.
Fairly quiet.
Yep, nothing's wrong with that.
Yep.
So good
What'd you
thing. I actually did DUI task force with Arizona Department of Public Safety. It was quiet. Everybody was a good doobie.
Everybody doing the right thing?
Yep, I was very happy.
What kind of New Year's is that?
Well, it's a good New Year's because that means everybody got home safe.
That's right.
So, as far as people we came in contact with, so that's good. But unfortunately, Esmeralda's not feeling good. I went to ride her the other day, and she's having some issues in the drivetrain. And I thought, what a great video to make. And we're going to diagnose and correct those issues. Full disclosure.
This could be a disaster.
This could be a disaster. Full disclosure, we're going to be using the B-roll segments with the iPhone today.
And I have no idea what's going on, full disclosure.
Right, so, yeah, Brandon's just getting thrown in the wolves on this one.
I don't do good off the cuff.
You've gotten so much better, though. From where we started to now, you've gotten so much better.
All right, so what you doing?
All right, so everything's ready to go. I'm doing my pre-ride check that we've talked about.
All right,
Video's linked up top. And when I freewheel, it gets bound up like that and then hops off. You guys can, there it goes.
Oh, that.
And so something's wrong there. And when we go, I mean, it just does not move for beans. It stops. Okay. There's no fluidity in that hub.
All right.
And so I don't know. You guys will see when we do close up of what Brandon's going to be doing and tinkering with. I mean, there's some derailleur strikes on there, which you've seen, but I don't think that's actually part of it.
All right. So we'll go through some troubleshooting real quick. The first thing I'm going to do is check your chain wear here.
And I remember the chain, guys.
See how we're looking.
We're gonna open this sucker up.
So
all right, Brandon.
There's a few things that could be going on here. First of all, drivetrains are not intended to go backwards, so they will pop off. Everything is designed
to go forward.
And says that's how all the ramping is. So actually, if you go backwards quickly, you're going against the ramp. Now, that looks a little bit bad, so maybe things are getting worn out.
Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking, because I've been able to freewheel on that before. Now I'm not going, zippity-doo-dah-day.
Okay.
But that is so much more significant.
Okay, yep.
So.
I agree with that.
All right, Brandon, you got to do a clap.
Okay.
Do a clap. 3, 2, 1. No, a clap, dude, because we don't have time code. It's got to be a clap. Come on. 3, 2, 1, clap. Okay, so now, continue.
Okay. So let's start off with the checking the chain here. Okay, it's clean. You did a good job cleaning it. So if everybody remembers correctly, I have two modes here. I have 50% and 75% on the chain wear. We're going to start at 50%, which it goes in at 50%, but it took a little bit of effort. It goes in, but I doubt we'll get in at 75, which is fine, which means the chain is still just fine. The next thing I want to look at is make sure that the pulleys don't have any damage or cracks to them. So I'll just run through these guys. They look like they are not worn out, and I don't see any damage or bend to them yet. You are using a little bit too much here.
Well, I didn't get a chance to wipe it off.
Okay, fair enough.
So, once I realized what was going on, I stopped. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and point to just the gnarly derailleur strike you can see right there.
And sometimes...
Because I ride it like I stole it.
And sometimes that also is it just does it after a while. There's nothing you can do, because if you think of all the little pins in here, they get worn out. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I understand why you weren't able to clean them off very well. So that's jumping off. Okay. If I'm looking here, look what's going on here, Thomas, see the gaps that are in between?
Yeah.
your eagle, and then the chain. I don't know if people can
Go
see
ahead
the
and-
back through there, the light that's shining through. But if you push it down, they're not lining up very well.
Right.
That could be a problem. That could be that we're wearing out the cassette there,
Okay.
which is not a cheap thing because obviously you've changed your chain, but not your cassette.
Right.
So now we are not meshing at all.
Oh man, you could really
see
see.
how it's
I'm gonna kind of zoom in, guys. A little bit harsh there, but yeah, you can see that's just not lining up well at all.
Right. So I'm going to assume that we put a new cassette on there, that things will line up much better. I'm also going to go to the back here just to check a couple things as well, and that could be I'm going to make sure that the both your idler and your guide pulley
Right.
are parallel and lined up fairly closely to the same angle as your rear derailleur there, or as your your last cog. So with the rock strikes and such, these guys have a potential to obviously get beat
Right.
up and not line up correctly. But I'm not sure this is the problem in this case because this is really off. They're not meshing at all.
This is what we
It
call
takes a little while to get in there.
paying to play, guys.
So let me just run through the gears real quick, see how the rest of them are looking. So it's still pretty quiet. Does it skip on you at all when you're hammering down, when you're putting
No,
pressure?
and that I haven't noticed on even when I shift under load.
Okay.
I haven't noticed any issues. Oh.
Bit.
There it
A
went.
little bit of cable tension too. So we'll see also by adding cable tension, because you can hear it wasn't going up.
Right.
If that cable tension will also help get into that gear a little bit better. So I still have a little bit of daylight shining through. But now we're getting in there a lot nicer.
Right.
And if I go backwards,
Ah.
it'll jump off.
Not too bad.
But it's not,
Oh.
yeah, it's not ideal. So for a moment I had a glimmer of hope that
Right.
just by adding that cable tension would line up better and
Right.
seat itself better on the shift.
Man, and I could just see down here at the bottom. Guys, if you look in that bottom corner, it was having a hard time seating itself.
Okay. So this is what we do. This is what happens all day long. It's a process of troubleshooting different things that potentially could go wrong. And again, sometimes we can get 3 or 4 guys on it and it still does that and we don't know why. And it could, I mean, we call it the X factor. It's just, it's been ridden, it's been beat up, it's been ridden like
Well, yeah,
it's
how
been
many
stolen,
thousands of miles
things like that. And
has
sometimes
this
we
been
just
ridden?
Can't
And
do anything without throwing parts at it at
Right.
that point. Okay.
now Brandon and I have talked about, and while he's kind of monkeying with that, I can't really cut away on the thing, so you guys are just gonna hear my voice. Well, that's spinning better,
Spinning better too.
a lot better.
And I don't know why that would be, because we did nothing with bearings or
Right.
anything like that your brakes. So my first thing I was listening for is just listen to see if your brakes were rubbing.
Right.
They weren't.
And
But
it was
is-
last time.
But it is spinning
Significantly better.
all right.
Not as good as it once was, but
We
it
might
certainly
have a little bit
is.
of brake rub in there still that we can maybe get out. You're looking at your pads. It might be time to put some new pads there. Push the pistons back.
You guys
put
just
some
did.
pads in there. Well,
The rear ones were done, but the front ones weren't.
riding heavy on the brakes, huh?
No. I would never do such a thing.
But I can see a little bit of piston there, so maybe we can push the pistons back, give yourself a little bit of room. It's running fairly smooth, but I feel like we have a little bit of brake drag going on there as
Right.
well. So, but coming back to this guy, we're not really lining up here. I know another thing that would be something that we're going to check will be B tension on there.
Okay.
So B tension, we'll use this for SRAM. And what we're going to essentially do is go to the second cog down and then make sure that this pointer lines up to the center of your your guide pulley there,
Okay.
which it does. Your B tension is good. The only way to get it even more precise is to do it with rider weight on there. So we could double check that by putting you on there and then seeing how this guy moves in relationship to your weight.
Right.
But I feel like in this case, that's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
We're looking good there with your B tension. And again, B tension is how this guy moves the distance from your cassette using your B tension screw.
Right.
If I were to screw that in, this would move further away.
Yeah.
Or if I were to screw it out, it would move closer.
And we'll be doing another video, guys, on the derailleur system, all this stuff at another time. It's part of our series that we're doing this year. And again, let me illustrate as I come up underneath. Brandon, if you want to point to that just friggin' chunk.
Yeah, we're missing we're missing a lot of paint here, guys. We're missing some aluminum. The bike's getting lighter by the
ride.
And I can see also, if you notice, these strikes here are especially tough on a derailleur because it's a fairly thin aluminum.
Yeah.
And that can bend them up as well. So, all the adjustments are correct. Everything looks good. I mean, again, we're a little bit dirty, but this shouldn't be the amount of lube on here shouldn't be an issue here.
Right.
So I'm afraid maybe now we just start throwing some parts at it and see what happens.
Okay.
That's not the ideal situation, but one thing that we can do while we got you all here is show you how to space out these pads, and then let's double check the bearings on the wheels real quick, and then maybe cut away, add some parts at some point, and see if that does the trick.
Okay.
Because I've troubleshooted everything I could to my knowledge here. So I'm going to dump her down to number 12 here, and then remove the wheel.
Now, you guys, remember we had a little bit of a video removing your rear wheel. It was a short, so I don't know if I can link it up top, but if I can, it's going to be up there for you guys to watch. And as a reminder, these are all things that we're going to go over in depth.
The first thing I want to do here to try to eliminate some of that brake drag here is space the pads.
Okay.
I observed that they were very close to the rotor when the rotor was installed. So I have here not a bad little tool. It's our pad spacer by Park Tool.
Okay.
And potentially you could do this with a screwdriver or something, but the key to this guy is it doesn't damage your pads.
Right.
Simply put, it doesn't damage your pads. So all you got to do is get in here, and they are kind of close because it doesn't go in there very easily.
Right.
And just jam it in there. If you notice, it went all the way in, and now what's happened is we've reset the pistons and pads so that they're all the way out now. And now that's giving us a better gap for our rotor to spin freely, and also for us to maybe do some alignment adjustments on there as well. So we can do that when we get the wheel back. But before we do that, let's go take a look. If you want to follow me here.
Yep.
And we'll just do a little inspection on your bearings. What I'm feeling for here is that if there's no play in here, and also that they run quiet and smooth, they feel good. They feel just fine.
Well, and Wyatt actually redid those for me last March, I want to say. I remember when I was in Sedona and the driver, the pulls and everything like that sheared off and brought it back in. And
so it stands to reason that they still feel good and they're still solid. If I were to feel any kind of grindiness in here or here, sometimes it sounds like the ocean's like
right.
Do that. I would then pop the caps off, do like a more in-depth inspection. But by in-depth, I would say sticking my pinky in there and kind of feeling it a little bit better. But
how was that again, Brandon?
But I have no reason to go in here any further and take a look. We've established when the bike was on there that all the pulls were engaging just fine.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any issues with the rear wheel. I think our issues are going to be probably in your cassette and then getting that rotor or the caliper realigned on there.
Okay.
And we should be good. So it's up to you now. What do you want to do? Start throwing parts or just not just pedal backwards? Because as long as things are engaging fine going forward.
Right. Just know not to pedal backwards.
Backwards. I would say
backwards.
The only bad thing about that is, if you want to clean your chain, that thing's going to pop off and kind of be a pain.
Right.
But you can just take it out of this gear and just move it down to a higher gear, and it should stay on just fine so you can do all your cleaning.
Right.
So at that point, I leave it up to you how important it is
Yeah.
I think as long as everything's moving forward just fine and under load, it's holding the chain, I would keep riding it till it dies, honestly.
I think I agree with you. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and cut away, and we're going to figure out what's going to happen. Brandon's going to put that back on there, and then we'll cut back away to finish out the segment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're back.
And we're back. All right. So, I am going to be ordering the SRAM transmission for this, and Brandon and I had already spoken about this, before the end of the year, back in October or whatever, when SRAM transmission came out. So what I'll do is I'll nurse this along. I won't pedal backwards. Now Brandon's going to do, it doesn't seem to spend the money just to upgrade to transmission and then lose that money. Doesn't seem smart investment to me. So Brandon's going to remount the tire here. We're going to adjust the pads a little bit. You guys can watch that process. And then, we'll go from there.
Okay. And did I even say that on camera, that we can now use a higher gear? And it'll probably stay in gear just fine for the cleaning.
Yeah.
Did I say it already? All right.
You didn't say it on camera, but you just did.
So that's another thing that we can do if we want to do some cleaning. Just go, because these will spin back. We're just fine under quite a bit of speed right there.
Yeah.
So
a little bit
and it stands to reason, because now we're at our most even though we're one by.
Right.
This is the hardest gear for that chain to stay on as we're going backwards, because we got a lot of bend in that chain.
Yep.
So down here you should be just fine. So leave that. He's just gonna ride it till it dies, and then put your transmission on, and that is a story for another day.
Okay.
So now I'm gonna double check. I respace those pads. I'm just gonna stick my ear in here.
Does it sound like the ocean? No, but it certainly is friggin' spinning a lot better.
Real nice now. Yeah, I think it could use a little bit of work. Let's see if I can get this better.
Okay. Brandon's going to try to work his magic. Now, for those of you, for those of you who are just joining us, maybe for the first time, we ask that you hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification icon, because, we do all kinds of cool stuff like this. And we hope that these videos help you not only maintenance your bike as well, but kind of give you options to troubleshoot when you're in diagnose, when you're on the trail. And arm you with that knowledge and better information. Not to mention that Brandon was once Brad Pitt's stunt double, just for his ass though, just for the ass scenes, just to let you guys know.
So to me, you'll see a lot of guys do different things to line up calipers. To me, there's no better way to do it than to just stick your ear next to it.
Kind of hear where it's rubbing.
And wait till there's no rubbing. Now, that's not totally... What's the word I should use here?
It's not scientific by any stretch of the imagination.
The thing about that is, yes, it's not rubbing anymore, but really what you want to aim for is not rubbing, and also that the pads also are straight against the rotor as they hit.
Right.
That's how you're going to get the best feel. A lot of times with pistons, especially older pistons, they don't come out straight anymore. The pads might come out at an angle, or the rotor might be warped, and so they, might be at an angle as well.
Yeah.
So really, I don't fight with all that stuff personally. Yes, it's. I don't want to say it's a cop out, but you just can't fight these things. Perfection is unattainable in some respects. So I'm just gonna go listen to make sure that I'm not rubbing, sticking my ear down here.
Yeah, don't get your ear in there, Van Gogh.
No, nope.
I mean, that would make a great friggin'
like
YouTube video, but I like it too much to see that happen.
But now we're all lined up. I think it's running way better.
A lot better than what it was.
And there is typically, if it was really, really good in the bearings and all that, you'd see a little bit of play back and forth before it comes to a stop. But this is pretty darn good for what we got.
Esmeralda's been ridden hard for many, many years.
And I'm just going to make sure these are tightened up. We've inspected the pads. The pads are still in good shape. Plenty of life left in them.
Absolutely.
And so a little bit of troubleshooting, a little bit of conversation with my customer, and I think we found
it's because nobody else here will work with me, guys.
I think we found a good balance, and we're both happy, and the bike is good to go on the trail again.
Awesome. Well, cool. Let's go ahead. Brandon, just for old time's sakes, give us a transition on the way out. Good stuff. That is good stuff. All right. And 3, 2. Well, Brandon, that was actually, I think, a very informative video.
I think it maybe gives you a little bit of process or a little bit of insight to our thought process.
Exactly.
When something is going wrong. And, you know, who knows? Like, again, now it's just time to throw parts at it. And that's not always a good conversation to have.
No, it's not, especially when we're talking higher end. I mean, this is SRAM Eagle XO. This is like the top of the line. So a cassette's not cheap.
No.
A derailleur's not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. But since you and I had discussed previously the roadmap for Esmeralda, which included Chris King hubs and different spokes, because we were going to do something cool, because the carbon rims, there's no reason to replace them, because they're great. And the transmission set, it behooves me just to wait, to ride it, be mindful of what's going on, and then here in a few weeks order the transmission, and then of course we'll do a video on the install, and then the last thing is the Chris King hubs, and then after that, other than some flashy, cool anodized parts, Esmeralda's good to go.
Like to me on this side of the wall, the good thing is that we have a plan. You're aware of the situation. You're aware of what's wrong with it, or potentially wrong with it, and the bike is safe to go out.
Yeah, absolutely. Roadworthy, trailworthy, I guess you could say. So, all right, Brandon, is there anything else you want to add before we close out?
No.
No. I'm good.
We'll see what happens when we put the transmission on.
Yeah. No, I think that's going to be a great video. So, guys, what do we say at this point? Like, subscribe, bell notification icon. It's the trifecta we love so much around here. Helps out the channel, helps out the video. Now, there's going to be some links down below. The most important one is Trek Bicycle Stores of West Phoenix, all right, here in Goodyear, Arizona. If you have any questions about what you've seen today, feel free to comment down below and ask your questions, which a lot of you have been doing. Thank you so much. It's awesome. Or you can call Brandon, okay, and ask him or one of his awesome team members your question, and they will be more than happy to help you. As a side note, I don't work here. Some of you guys, I guess, are coming in looking for me and calling and asking for me. Yeah, no, I don't work here. Maybe one day. We'll see. I don't know if Brandon's ready for that yet, as far as that goes. But the guys here are awesome. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok are the devil's work. We've talked about this before, but that social media is needed to get the word out for Get Out Arizona. We've just passed 3,000 subs, guys. We're on our way to 4K, and we couldn't have done it without your support. So thank you very much for that. The other links are affiliate links. And if you make a qualifying purchase, we receive a small commission, which helps out with park passes, gas money, and coffee money. The other trifecta we love so much, but you will not be charged anything additional. So, what are our tenets, guys? Seriously, let's start the year out right. Well, actually, no, this is like the 3rd video of the year, so we'll keep going. Be kind to yourself and others. Be amazing stewards on that trail. And we have to ask, what are you waiting for?
Get Out Arizona.
Yeah. We'll see you on that next adventure, my friends. Take care, everybody. Brandon, we'll see you next week.
Yep.